As is the outer, so is the inner. As is the small, so is the great. There is but one law, and he that worketh is one. Nothing is small, nothing is great in the divine economy. In these words are contained at once the principle of the universe and the secret of the intuition. She it is, the divine woman of man's mental system, that opens to him the perfect way, the way of the Lord, that path of the just which, as a shining light, shineth more and more unto the perfect day. And her complete restoration, crowning, and exaltation is the one condition essential to that realization of the ideal perfection of man's nature, which mystically is called the finding of Christ. Now the modes whereby the intuition operates are two, namely, perception and memory. By the former, man understands and interprets. By the latter, he retains and utilizes. Perceiving, recollecting, and applying, the mind enacts for itself a process analogous to that which occurs in the physical organism. For its operations correspond to the three physiological processes of nutrition: prehension, digestion, and absorption. When the uninitiate person, or materialist, denies positively as with curious inconsistency, such persons do deny the possibility of positive knowledge, and declares that all we know is nothing can be known. He speaks truly so far as concerns himself and his fellows. The natural man, as the apostle declares, perceiveth not the things that are of the Spirit, for they are foolishness unto him, and he cannot know them because they are spiritually discerned. But the spiritual man judgeth all things, and he himself is judged of no man. While the two orders here indicated refer to the inner and outer, or soul and body, of each individual, they refer also to the two great divisions of mankind. They who as yet recognize the body only, and they who are so far unfolded in their interior nature as to recognize the soul also. Of these last is the initiate of the sacred mysteries. Following his intuition, such a one directs the force of his mind inwards, and provided his will is subordinated to and made one with the divine will, passes within the veil, and knows even as he is known. For as the apostle says again, what man knoweth the things of a man, save the man himself? So likewise the things of God no man knoweth, save the Spirit of God within the man. And the Spirit knoweth all things, and revealeth them unto the man. As thus, by means of our divine part, we apprehend the divine. No such apprehension is possible to him who does not, in some degree, reflect the divine image. For if thine eye be evil, thy whole body is full of darkness. If then the very means of light in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? Matter is the antithetical ultimate of spirit. Wherefore the enemy of spiritual vision is always materiality. It is therefore by the dematerialization of himself that man obtains the seeing eye and the hearing ear in respect of divine things. Dematerialization consists not in the separation of the soul from the body, but in the purification of both soul and body from engrossment by the things of sense. It is but another example of the doctrine of correspondence. As with the vision of things physical, so with that of things spiritual. Purity alike of instrument and medium is indispensable to perception. This then is the nature and function of intuition. By living so purely in thought and deed as to prevent the interposition of any barrier between his exterior and his interior, his phenomenal and his substantial self, and by steadfastly cultivating harmonious relations between these two, by subordinating the whole of his system to the divine central will, whose seat is in the soul, the man gains full access to the stores of knowledge laid up in his soul, and attains to the cognition alike of God and of the universe. And for him, as is said, there is nothing hid which shall not be revealed. And it is not his own memory alone that, thus endowed, he reads. The very planet of which he is the offspring is like himself a person, and is possessed of a medium of memory. And he to whom the soul lends her ears and eyes may have knowledge not only of his own past history, but of the past history of the planet, as beheld in the pictures imprinted in the magnetic field, whereof the planet's memory consists. For there are actually ghosts of events, manes of past circumstances, shadows on the protoplasmic mirror, which can be evoked. But beyond and above the power to read the memory of himself or of the planet is the power to penetrate to that innermost sphere wherein the soul obtains and treasures up her knowledge of God. This is the faculty whereby true revelation occurs. And revelation, even in this its highest sense, is, no less than reason, a proper prerogative of man, and belongs of right to him in his highest and completest measure of development. For, placed as the soul between the outer and the inner, mediator between the material and the spiritual, she looks inward as well as outwards, and by experience learns the nature and method of God, and according to the degree of her elevation, purity, and desire, sees, reflects, and transmits God. It is in virtue of the soul's position between the worlds of substance and of phenomena, and her consequent ability to refer things to their essential ideas, that in her, and her alone, resides an instrument of knowledge competent for the comprehension of truth, even the highest, which she only is able to behold face to face. It is no hyperbole that is involved in the saying, "The pure in heart see God." True, the man cannot see God, but the divine in man sees God, and this occurs when, by means of his soul's union with God, the man becomes one with the Father, and beholds God with the eyes of God. That is not really knowledge which is without understanding, and the knowledge acquired by man through the soul involves the understanding of all the things apprehended. Now, to understand a thing is to get intellectually into, beyond, and around it, to know the reason of and for it, and to perceive clearly that it, and it only under the circumstances, is and could by any possibility be true. Apart from such knowledge and understanding, belief is impossible. For that is not belief, in any sense worthy of the term, which is not of knowledge. And only that belief saves which is conjoined with the understanding. For the rock on which the true church is built is the understanding.